So she trusted you with her trauma, and you thought that meant something. But a lot of men confuse emotional access with intimacy, and that mistake drains the hell out of you. And that's exactly what happened to me. I got into this new job, right? And I found the hottest girl working there. And she got my attention, so I approached her. But she basically stalled, meaning no. Then a few months pass. And during these months, she used to come to my office and talk to me about her troubles, her emotions, her trauma, her talking to me about everything going in her day, negative especially. And I thought maybe she's sharing with me, maybe she's comfortable, like maybe this is going somewhere, right? And so I asked her out again, and the answer is still no. So I got 2 no's in a row, but she's still coming and talking to me in my office. So this means she's not into me, she's just into overflowing. She's just into talking, and dumping her emotions on me. So this video is a warning for you. If you are recovering from burnout, you need to recognize these patterns early, or you will get squeezed out and left drained and worse than you were before. For nothing in return. That's the key point here. All right? Let's just get right into it. First, let's start with facts. Emotional dumping is not vulnerability. Here's the key part here. Real vulnerability is very selective and mutual. Here's what I mean by that. Do you share your first moment where you had your first kiss, or you had like something very special going on for the first time or something like that? Do you share that openly with everyone? Of course you don't. Because you naturally want to share it with someone who you care about, because you care about how they perceive you and you care about what they think, and it's mutual. They also have their secrets that they want to share with you. But if your life is an open book, then this means no one is special to you. So this means if she comes and dumps her emotional trauma on me and everybody around her, then this means nobody is special in her eyes, including you. And especially when there is no higher connection level involved, say a girlfriend-boyfriend situation or marriage situation. When you're just friends or just co-workers and vulnerable shit is being dumped, then this is overflowing. It's not necessarily connection, because you can't build connection on just negative news. There has to be something like positive news, for example, right? But that doesn't happen often. You see, in my case, for example, I don't recall one time where she said, yes, I am happy and I am doing this thing and I feel so proud of myself. She never once opened the topic like in this sense. She always comes, wants to quit her job, complaining about X, complaining about the new manager, complaining about her boss, everything negative but nothing positive. And that leads to the actual filter that is required for you to differentiate between actual connection and emotional dumping. The real test is after the talk. Who feels lighter and who feels heavier? And the matter is simple. She unloads and you carry. And this is not very confusing when you think about it. When these talks usually finish, you will get something like I got, for example. You're such attentive and caring and listening. Thank you. I feel much lighter. And then when you go to sleep, especially after a long day of work where you are supposed to be recovering, it annoys your sleep and you start thinking, maybe she should have done this, done that. Maybe that would have happened to her. Maybe this, maybe that. We can work something out. You start thinking about this shit. But in her mind, she's sleeping like a baby and she doesn't give a shit what you are thinking or where you are right now or what you're doing or what kind of pain you are carrying. She doesn't. Another bad thing about this dynamic is that the confusion between being needed with being chosen. See, here's the difference. Being needed means you are useful. When you are useful, you are rewarded for your usefulness. Meaning, when she wants to trauma dump on you, she comes and says hello and she's being polite and then she starts her usual emotional dumping. But being chosen is different. It's being desired to sit with. She invites you out. She tells you, let's go somewhere. She tells you, let's have a breakfast. Let's do something together. That's being desired. And the attention from her appears when you absorb and disappears when you set limits. For example, I remember when she was coming and dumping her emotional shit. Whenever she brought her ex thing situation, I just kind of blow it off and I nod and I show my disinterest in her bullshit, right? Then she gets upset and leaves. And I didn't mind it because she rejected me, so like I'm not gaining anything from that. So I don't really care. But at the same time, during the usefulness in this dynamic, her warmth appears. Like she has the watery eyes, the feminine energy talk and shit like that, only during her emotional dumping phase. But after her emotional dumping is done, she then moves like she doesn't even know me at all. No eye contact, no even breaking a smile. And so the warmth here is tied to the access for the usefulness, not the attraction itself. That's the way I mixed up, and I thought maybe if I give it another shot, then because now we're talking more, right? Maybe now we are sharing deeper stuff, right? So therefore it means maybe now it's right timing and before was wrong timing, right? Well, no, because when I asked again after a few months, I still got rejected. And the bigger problem here is this: I'm already drained by life. I have the work, I have my own stress. I came out of a devastating divorce, and instead of recovering, I became someone's emotional container. As if I don't have enough problems, I now have her emotional energy being dumped on me. And my advice here is simple, and I'm gonna execute it exactly tomorrow. Just cut connection. Honestly, like, be direct and straightforwardly say, look, I'm not into this dynamic. Like, I asked you out, you're not into it. Fair enough, but I'm also not into platonic bullshit where it drains me. This dynamic is not working for me. Choose whatever words that please you, but this has to come out somehow, okay? Because this kind of company is not a good company. Sure, you should have friends, and especially when you are recovering from shit, you should be having friends and should be alone. I get it. That's healthy. But what's not healthy is to have a friend who drains you all the time, because burnout is not just work or stress from previous shit that happened. It can come from draining dynamics just like this one. Exactly like the energy, right? Because energy is not restored or vanishes. It shape shifts from solid to liquid, from solid to gas, from her emotions to your sleep, from her highly intense emotional moments into your thoughts. And when you are supposed to be sleeping like a baby, you are stuck overthinking what she said and overestimating the closeness between you two. And then when the real test for the closeness comes, then she basically refuses and wants to box you in this dynamic. So save your energy for yourself, for your actual recovery, and stop wasting it on people who don't appreciate what you have. And I just want to make it clear here. She is not a bad person, and she could be having real problems and having struggles and difficulties and need an advice, okay? But in my case, for example, she was running away from the advice. Whenever I was real with her and I told her like clear solutions, she would instantly find an excuse to run away from the room, right? But when she was dumping, she was just flowing with emotions, like I said, the teared eyes, the glow on her face, all that shit. Only when she is dumping. So it's not necessarily her being a bad person, but at the same time, that says something about you more than it says about what you have between you two. It shows that you are caring and you actually listen and you are able to absorb and you are able to handle difficult talks. But it doesn't mean that you two are close, okay? And remember, like I said, she may not be into you, regardless of how deep the shit she shares with you. Just keep that in mind. This is it for me. Stay safe and take care.